and they're about to start this game. Their sole focus will be on starting the game, as Tony mentioned, well, starting it strongly. But the main thing for Ulster is that they will know deep down, if they perform, each and every one of them performs their own ability, then they've got too much for the Scarlet side.
No, they should have, they're too much in the tank. If the front five get on top, Ulster potentially could blow this Scarlet side away, and that's what we're hoping for.
Okay, Tony, Brent, thank you very much. No doubt Ulster will be feeding off this fine atmosphere in Ravenhill this evening. It's time to join our commentary team this evening, Ryan Constable and Jim Neely, who I know has seen his fair share of very memorable moments in front of that old Ravenhill stand. Good evening to you both.
Well, good evening, Stephen. I wasn't around when Jack Kyle and the Irish side did the business in terms of the Grand Slam away back in 1948, but I do recall some memorable moments. Philip Rainey kicking a penalty to defeat Australia in 1984. David Humphrey's side achieving great things against Toulouse and Stade Francais in 99 with Bryn and Tony in that squad. But here come the Scarlets, no bonus points, winning or losing, no reliance on other sides. It's winner take all here at Ravenhill tonight. And a couple of Lions elect just coming out of the park at Ravenhill and looking a wee bit on the nervous side, you have to say, understandably perhaps. But Rob McCusker returns the captain of the Scarlets, joined in the back row by fellow internationals Aaron Shingler and Josh Turnbull, and prop Phil John plays his 260th Scarlets game this evening. Rhys Prieston was a late withdrawal, so Owen Williams starts at outside half. 4 Welsh internationals, 2 of them George North and Jonathan Davis, off to Australia with the Lions. And in the best traditions, Ulster making their opponents wait. Final words have been said. Mark Anscombe has long since left the dressing room. It's down to the skipper Johan Muller and the rest of the proven leaders, including Rory Best, in this Ulster side. And out comes Johan Muller, leading an Ulster team who are 80 minutes and possibly 160 minutes away from achieving the first trophy since 2006 when they won this particular trophy. Celtic League as it was in those days. What a difference this man has made since he joined from Western Province, and what a difference this man has made. 2 remarkable awards this season for Nick Williams, the Aucklander. What a night it's going to be. No John Afoa, as we've mentioned, so Declan Fitzpatrick starts in the front row, as does Tom Court. Dan Toohey returns to partner the Ulster skipper in the second row. The back row remains unchanged, with Nick Williams hoping to make it an even more memorable week. Having started at 10 against the Blues, Ruan Pienaar reversed to his preferred position of scrum half. Paddy Jackson's his partner. The three-quarter line plays its 3rd successive game as a unit. Tommy Bowe, Australia bound in the left wing, and Andrew Trimble once again on the right. Couldn't get a better referee for an important fixture. 65 test games he's refereed. Alain Roland did the World Cup final in 2007 and is due to do the Heineken Cup final next weekend. Paddy Jackson restored to outside half, puts in a very clever kick and has come back on Ulster's side. Fitzpatrick, Stuart Olding, Darren Kay thought about the kick. Tommy Bowe. Lively start by Ulster. Pienaar, Jackson looked a bit forward. Nick Williams wrapped up by half a dozen red jerseys. Pienaar switches direction. Jackson into Owen Williams, deputising for Rhys Prieston, who didn't come through the warm-up. Robbie Dyack, who's had a splendid season for Ulster. Turnbull slow to get out of the way. Chris Henry. Ulster driving forward, be happy to get anything from this. Here's Jackson. Rory Best, lovely angle by Best. Needs a bit of support, gets it now from Pienaar. Jackson was looking to see who was outside him, and he spilled it. On the advantage is with the Scarlets, and did they get an advantage? The answer is no.
Well, we've already seen a key feature of what Ulster are going to need to do tonight. In the absence of John Afoa, the responsibility for ball carrying and getting over that all-important advantage line will firmly rest on the likes of Court, Best, Toohey, Dyack and Nick Williams. If they can get over the advantage line, create quality possession, Ulster can then play front foot ball. When they play in that vein, they're a very difficult team to stop.
Ulster that little bit heavier by about 3 pounds a man, Alain Roland has had a word with the front rows, as per instructions before the game. He's telling Nick Williams to bind in, please, before the front row's engaged. His opposite number wasn't doing that, I can tell you, Rob McCusker.
No, I'm asking you to wait for my call.
On the tight head side of the Scarlets, a young man for whom great things are expected.
Okay,
Samson Lee, and if you call Samson, I suspect you have to live up to that name. There's Robbie Dyack.
Yeah, one of Ulster's most consistent performers in that pack. Week after week, he's been delivering in a variety of positions. He'll have a key part to play in this game.
Sun has just disappeared behind a little bit of cloud, so it's not shining in our eyes, I'm glad to say. Not a bad Scarlet scrummage. Ulster get the squeeze. Pienaar tried to disrupt Alan Davis. Well, the Scarlets are likely to attack from just about any position in the field. They have a very good back line. Good tackle on Davis by Darren Cave. Nick Williams nearly stole it. It's all over the place. Initial knock on by Ulster. Liam Williams.
Advantage is over.
Says the advantage is over. There's Phil John. What a wonderful servant he's been for the Scarlets. This could be very interesting. That wasn't a bad tackle, but Ulster have left themselves exposed on the far wing. And this is Fenby, who's wonderfully quick. He's leaving the Scarlets, as is George North at the end of this season. Hoping, like North, this is not his last game.
Yes, I
good
see
attack.
I have him, yeah. Didn't retreat.
Ulster have given away a penalty, I think. Somebody not getting back. And that's going to be the first chance of points. And it's a fairly typical Ulster pattern. And it might well have been Dan Toohey. Ulster pressing, losing possession, losing territory, and giving away the chance of points.
Scarlets are a dangerous team when it comes broken play. They've got strike runners across the park, and they relish these mismatches when they create them. They get the overlap, and they have the ability with ball in hand to create havoc, pace out wide, and we've seen an example of that. Fenby doing particularly well on this occasion.
Well, if you let Andrew Fenby or George North, or indeed any one of the Scarlets back division, break the first tackle, you're always going to be in trouble, and that's what happened. And because Dan Toohey strayed offside at the breakdown, it's given
Time back on.
the Scarlets through the right side half, Owen Williams, this chance of points.
And when you're the visiting team in front of a vociferous crowd like Ravenhill, you want to silence that early, and the best way to do that is points on the board. That's when you can mount the pressure psychologically on the home team, and that pressure will surely start with 3 points.
Well, he's directly in front of the Ulster posts, and this looks pretty regulation for Owen Williams, who started against Treviso last week. Was replaced by Rhys Priestland, who was due to start, but Williams is now here looking for the Scarlets' opening points. No problems whatsoever. So having made all the early running, Ulster have conceded a penalty, and they now find themselves 3 points down. And as we said, Ryan, at the top of this, it's not like the Scarlets were last week looking over their shoulders, as indeed were Ulster. Whoever wins this goes to the final.
And it's club season over for whoever loses. They'll be aware of what's at stake. What you can't let is the nerves of the occasion get to you. You've got to trust what you've been doing all season and execute on the day. Taken in by Scott Williams. He'll be remembered in Welsh folklore as the man who scored the try that defeated England for the Grand Slam last year. Taken on by one of the Scarlets' big South Africans, who managed to hold on to it.
Yes, absolutely.
Alan Roland will not take any old nonsense on the ground, and it looked as if it was Johan Sneeman, the Pretoria-born South African.
Yeah, that double tackle again, but then it's Robbie Dyack who reads the situation very well, maintains that foot position, gets the referee's attention, and very quick to award that penalty. And let's hope the referee's interpretation at the breakdown is that decisive. With two teams like this, you want open rugby and a fair contest at the breakdown.
Well, you always know where you stand with Alain Roland. He does lay down the law, and he doesn't brook any interference, and he won't take any old back chat. So 2 minutes after they conceded the opening points, can Ruan Pienaar get Ulster back on level terms? And the answer is absolutely. So it's honours even. Just over 6 minutes gone. Ulster 3 and Scarlets 3. And Ulster had to come straight back from that, and that's exactly what they did.
Interesting split kickoff option being taken by the Scarlets. Ulster have responded by splitting their two main ball recipients, and let's see which way the Scarlets go.
Up it goes from Williams. It's a bit on the long side. Oh dear, knocked forward by Trimble.
Knock on one.
Well,
knock
first
on two.
Paddy Jackson and then Andrew Trimble. One certainly infinitely more experienced than the other, but those are things that you really can't afford to do at this level.
Well, last week we saw it nearly cost Ulster in that first half with a lack of ball security and just a misjudging there. Difficult with the wind conditions, just blowing on a little bit further, and perfect attacking opportunity now for the Scarlets. Backline aligned out, all lateral, looking to see what move they pull off the training pattern.
Yeah, Liam Williams has come into the position in between his outside centre and his right wing, which is George North. Ulster have responded in similar fashion. That's a good Ulster squeeze at the scrummage, but the Scarlets get it back. Little flat ball taken on by Williams, knocked forward. Advantage to Ulster being played by the referee. Robbie Dyack somewhat isolated. Ulster have been forced to concede 3 or 4 metres. And the Scarlets, another South African second row, George Earl this time going off his feet.
In the side and off your feet, thank you.
And somebody's got himself hurt. It looks like one of the Scarlets players. I think it might be Scott Williams, the international centre. In the meantime, Ruan Pienaar's given it a fair old thump and has made some 40 metres. But that's a bit of a blow for the Scarlets.
They'd be hugely disruptive, particularly in the opening parts of a game. You lose a key member of your team. You've trained with them all week. Difficult to just slot someone in there and pick off seamlessly.
Well, it was a very good scrum by Ulster and some good defence, and he was well tackled by Stuart Olding, and I think he's come down very heavily on his shoulder, and that doesn't look good at all. Well, he's got himself up again. Well, so much for Dr. Neely's diagnosis. Taken by Muller. Pienaar has to run. Makes a nice angle for himself. He's given that a decent bit of height. Taken in by George North, who left the field last week at Parkett Scarlets and is being hustled towards the touchline, and that's good defence by Ulster. George North wrapped up, first of all, by the man with whom he'll be touring in a few weeks' time, Tommy Bowe.
Yeah, wasn't able because of the adjustment of the kick from good pressure from the Scarlets line-out. Ruan Pienaar had to evade the first tackler. That caused a timing issue, so Ulster couldn't get there to compete for the ball in the air, but a good decision after that. Isolated him, took him towards the touchline, and some excellent defensive work.
Scarlets throw, amazingly. Back to Williams. Jonathan Davis. Not one of his more distinguished passes, he would probably admit. So Ulster will have the line-out. I thought George North was taken into touch by the Ulster defence, and I thought that the previous one might have been an Ulster line-out. However, they've got this one.
And neither team really settling into any rhythm. Number of mistakes from each side, penalties at the breakdown, adapting to those early interpretations, waiting for one team to pick up a rhythm.
Well, 10 minutes played. Ulster 3, Scarlets 3. Muller, Pienaar got it away well. Jackson had to check. Well, that's an interesting testing kick. Chris Henry making a lot of ground. Williams has scooped it back for Ulster, but it's been won on the ground by the Scarlets. Ulster just a wee bit slow to react. Alan Davis gets it away. Taken on by George Earl. In goes Tom Court. Good strength by George North. Chris Henry made the telling tackle. Back to Williams.
Wait!
Well covered by Pienaar.
He's inside.
Inside his 22, so he can kick directly into touch. And he hasn't made it. Well taken by Liam Williams, who's getting better season on season. Again, it's Pienaar. This time it's Jackson. Has a glance outside him.
Three.
All the way back is Owen Williams. Cave needs to be careful. Williams did well. Good cover by Pienaar. This is where the Scarlets are at their most dangerous. Alan Davis. Phil John. Looks good for another 100 appearances for the Scarlets. But he held on the tackle, and Alain Roland gives Ulster the penalty.
Excellent work by Nick Williams on that occasion, dominating with that body position. A difficult opponent to remove once he gets in that position, and a welcome penalty inside their own half.
Well, that's a great kick by Ruan Pienaar. Didn't quite make the last one when he kicked from hand inside his 22, but that's given Ulster just about the perfect field position. Good work in the tackle by firstly Tom Court, and then Nick Williams staying on his feet and competing and forcing Phil John to concede the penalty.
Come up, come up. Close it.
Irish Rugby Union Professional Players Association Player of the Year, the Pro Direct Player of the Year as well. Muller, Pienaar. Scarlets out quickly. Jackson, Tommy Bowe in from the left wing. Referee saying that Tommy Bowe has to be put down, and they ease him down relatively gently. Pienaar, Robbie Dack. Scarlets up very quickly in Ulster's faces. Rory Best trying to make a bit of ground, but Ulster still outside that 22.
Use it!
Taken on by Williams.
4 wide in the side.
And as Johan Muller penalised the Ulster skipper, and he nods his head in agreement.
A mounting number of penalties from both sides at the breakdown. You hope Alain Roland will go to the pocket, issue that yellow, sort it out so that the game can start to flow.
Well, Scarlets certainly not like the ragtag outfit that were taken apart by a very good Treviso side a week ago, but then you wouldn't expect them to play that badly 2 weeks in a row. Ulster's first half against Cardiff last week, as has been mentioned, was not altogether uninspiring, but the second half they really hit their straps, and they may well have to do something similar here this evening. Turnbull, Davis into a little bit of space. Trimble goes back. Pretty decent kick by Andrew Trimble. Start of next week, the Irish squad to go to Canada and the USA due to be announced, and Les Kiss, who's the coach for that tour, is here this evening. I'm quite sure there'll be a handful, if not a couple of handfuls, of Ulstermen on that party. Ken Owens. Well taken by George Earl. Away goes Josh Turnbull. Best and then Williams with the tackle. Referee saying hands out. Alan Davis taken on by the Scottish skipper Rob McCusker, who missed last week's game. Earl again gets across the gain line, but he spilled it. Chance for Ulster. Now they move it wide, well taken by Cave. What was he doing? Threw the ball forward. Scarlets have got possession again and looking to use Fenby on the narrow side. Have Ulster stolen it? Scarlets have to use it. Their advantage is over, and they do use it. Taken on by Samson Lee, only 20 years of age. Phil John is some 12 years older. Alan Davis. Aaron Shingler. Davis again. Owen Williams. Back inside, taken by Jonathan Davis. Williams has got himself hurt. Alan Davis gets it in behind Tommy Bowe, who's got plenty of time. Trimble pressed into service as a kicker. Not such a good one this time. George North. Josh Turnbull. What a tackle by Tom Court. Referee, I think, is going to give another penalty. Well, this is going to give Scarlets a chance to regain the lead.
Yeah, it's been the story of this opening stanza. Penalties, individual errors, and no real flow to the game. Both teams looking to just pick off those three-pointers when they come.
And again, it was Johan Muller penalised, Ulster's captain, leading the side for the 49th time. There was this Incredible tackle by Tom Court. And then Muller off his feet. The referee deemed that he was interfering in some way.
And that's the sort of punishment Ulster can dish out. Marginal in terms of timing, but certainly making his presence felt once again.
Owen Williams getting a little bit of treatment. Ulster's two star South Africans having a word with each other, both World Cup winners in 2007. Owen Williams deemed to be fit enough to take this penalty as his namesake. Nick Williams looks on. There was quite a bit of breeze around about an hour or so before the game, but it seems to have just about disappeared, so there's no real advantage at the moment. Maybe the Scarlets playing with a slight breeze at their backs, and Ulster in the second half will be playing towards their favoured War Memorial end. Off the post. Still not cleared though. Here's Jackson, and he gets it away. Well, I think that clatter that Owen Williams took is maybe shaken him more than we realise. Paddy Jackson delighted to get that one away. That certainly is a let-off for Ulster. 17 and a half minutes gone, still 3 apiece.
You know, we haven't seen much width in the game as yet. Both teams playing in the narrow channels either side of the ruck. Fairly attritional stuff. That's probably attributed to the fact that they haven't got past 3 or 4 phases.
Lineouts going according to script so far. Davis, Williams, great tackle by Stuart Olding. Alan Davis gets it away again. Good distribution by the Scarlets, good defence by Ulster in the middle of the park. They might just have stolen that one. Referee calling for hands out. Ulster have turned that one over. Now they're on their own 10-metre line. Ruan Pienaar asking for everybody to go a bit on the deep side. Jackson, Jared Payne saw a gap, puts the foot on the gas. Payne gets away. Little chase for Tommy Bowe against George North. Here goes Bowe, couldn't quite control. Crowd complaining that Jared Payne might have been taken out after he kicked. But what a good piece of play by Jared Payne. Silky running, wonderful incursion.
That's the sort of threat he possesses. When the field is broken, Paddy Jackson very quickly realises where the space is. He transitions that ball into Jared Payne's hand, and then he just hits the afterburners, slices through to the fence, just couldn't position his support players to continue the move.
Good quick line-out ball from the Scarlets, but Rob McCusker taken down close to his own posts. But again, they've set it up. Good work by the lively Ken Owens and Rory Best, the two of them, I think, on the short list as replacements for the Lions hooker's job. Tommy Bowe, Payne called well. Here's Bowe. Good support by Chris Henry. Out of the back of his hand. Referee's happy with that. Jared Payne has set it up for Ulster. Paddy Jackson, Dobby Dyack, thumping Scarlets. Defensive tackling. Pienaar, Jackson has a little go himself. Taken by the line, elect Jonathan Davis. Good support play by Andrew Trimble. Came in like an extra forward. Ulster have got the penalty. Pienaar, cross kick for Payne. Bit of nonsense breaks out in the deck. And it's the abrasive Liam Williams. And somebody else has got absolutely flattened. Turnbull through, Darren Cave in his back. And Tommy Bowe is certainly not going to get involved in that, but he's not going to stand by and see his teammates manhandled him. Andrew Trimble is holding his eye, and he's got a very nasty looking eye there, which to me looks like the result of a punch. Well, there's such a lot at stake, and things are liable to boil over, but Alain Roland is just the man to keep the lid on it.
Step away.
Now is touch judge Adrian Graves going to come in.
14.
Liam Williams and Andrew Trimble are the two men going to be spoken to. And what is he saying? Is he going for the pocket?
two of you are going in the bin for fighting. Throwing punches, absolutely no need for it, okay? Listen to me, okay? You started, everybody else joined in. You're both responsible for it, okay? You threw it first, you retaliated, your retaliation was no worse. Initial penalty is going against you for first punch thrown, okay? No, you're both off, both of you in the bin. 10 minutes, off you go.
Liam Williams and Andrew Trimble in the bin for 10 minutes. The initial penalty was going to Ulster, but I have a feeling it may have been reversed. So, 2 men in the bin, and there's a replacement. So the Scarlets have lost Scott Williams, who's never quite recovered, and are going to have to bring on a replacement if they haven't done so already. Well, this is where it all kicked off. Liam Williams threw himself in there. Andrew Trimble got involved. Well, I'm not sure that was a punch by Andrew Trimble. He took him by the collar and then shoved him, and then Williams retaliated. That certainly was a punch, and several punches, and no bias intended, but I think Andrew Trimble not only came off the worst of it physically, but in terms of getting binned. Gareth Owen has come on to replace Scott Williams.
And Scott Williams is a huge loss for the Scarlets. They'll feel that in the potency they possess in that back line, particularly from a physical perspective. And Ulster will look to capitalise on any potential disruption by sending some players down that channel early, you feel.
Well, Ulster got the Specsavers Fair Play Award for having only 6 players yellow carded this season. Make that 7. Where's that going? It's all over the place. Chris Henry managed to pull it in for Ulster. Now, if they can move this, there might be a wee chance here. Pienaar decides to play a bit of territory. Alan Davis.
Stand.
Owen Williams.
Inside.
Taken by Pienaar, who stepped outside his 22. Chris Henry was behind him when he kicked it. Well chased by Henry and well tackled by Henry, but well presented by the Scarlets. Alan Davis, Samson Lee into Rory Best. Alan Davis again. Williams. Well, that's bounced in field, and Paddy Jackson gathers inside his 22, so he can kick directly into touch, and he does just that. Well, the Ulster physio, Gareth Robinson, caused a bit of consternation by standing and putting his hand up as if he were the touch judge. But it's play on. Alan Davis, taken by Rory Best. Needs a bit of support. Gets it from Declan Fitzpatrick. Pienaar has a glance. Says to Dyack, can you run? And the answer is yes. He was being obstructed by a couple of Scarlets there. Back to Alan Davis. Dyack stuck the leg out. Now that's a penalty against Ulster. The referee didn't see that. Well, if he didn't see it, I don't know why he didn't give the penalty against Ulster. That should have been a penalty against Dyack. And Andrew McMenemy was right beside it. And Ulster have got a penalty.
Another big hit by Nick Williams in that play, causing turnovers from that really physical approach he has to the game. And an interesting decision from Ulster, sensing something here, kicking for line instead of going for the 3 points.
Well, if they get something from this, they can count themselves a wee bit fortunate, because I thought Robbie Dyack stuck his leg out. It wasn't a nasty swinging leg. And the Scarlets have complained to Alain Roland, who said, I didn't see it, and he's issued an apology. There it was. That's definitely a penalty. Nothing more, though. Yeah, but certainly it was illegal.
Yeah, possibly, but it's Ulster now who feel they'll want to make the most of this situation.
Taken by Nick Williams at the front of the line.
It's going to be important.
The Scarlets can't afford to drag it down. Now Ulster have kept the ball up, and they're driving forward. Tommy Bowe joins them. Ulster looking for the first try of the game. They're still driving forward. Great defence by the Scarlets. Dyack comes round to help, and the Scarlets give away a penalty. And Ulster might just go for the scrum this time.
14 red in the side.
George North coming in from the side. 14 red, says the referee. What a racket here at Ravenhill.
Yeah, and if Ulster were lucky not to receive a yellow card for Robbie Dyack, then the Scarlets are probably lucky not to have George North off that close to the line. If you infringe when Ulster were moving forward and looked to be a good opportunity to score, it certainly wouldn't have been a shock to see that one carded either.
Well, it was well taken in, and initially Ulster just couldn't keep their feet. There were one or two Scarlets bodies lifted around the place, and Ulster couldn't keep it moving. And here they go again. Pienaar appealing to the referee. Core tries to set it up. Nick Williams drives forward. He's nearly lost it, but he's twisted round now. Has he set it up? There's the ball. Chris Henry stands off, goes to Rory Best. Sidestep by Ireland's most capped hooker of all time. Pienaar on the narrow side. Tommy Bowe is going to get in. Try number 51 in the lead for Tommy Bowe, and that gives Ulster the lead with nearly 25 minutes gone.
They wouldn't have scored too many more important ones than that. That score's locked at 3-all. Ulster needed to make the most of that opportunity, and one-on-one, that close to the line, the power and the pace, he's going to be a difficult man to stop.
But it was cleverly called by Ruan Pienaar. He did have men out to his right, but the Scarlets were anticipating that. This is the initial setup. Terrific work by Rory Best and fine support by Chris Henry. Pienaar, what a pass by Pienaar. Took out 4 defenders, and Bowe beat the remaining defender. And that defender happened to be his fellow Lion, or Lion-elect, George North.
Yeah, clinical finish. That's what you want from your wide men. A sniff of the line and 5 points resulting from it.
2 wide coming off.
Rory Best is leaving the field. I think he's got himself a cut, so it'll be a blood replacement. And Rob Herring will be coming on. More of that in a second as we look at Ruan Pienaar attempting this conversion. Looks like a bit of a graze for Rory Best. I think there's anything too much to worry about, but he'd have to go off. Pienaar needs to come back in, and it does right at the last second. Looked like it was going to the near post, and it just beautifully took that little whiff of wind and went between the sticks to put Ulster 10-3 up.
It's almost as if Ruan Pienaar saw it coming like a good sailor, put it out there, and at the last minute when it looked as though it was going to go wide, just came back in. There's that finish again. Few Ulster players in and around, but no one impeding the tackler. That's just a very good one-on-one finish.
Rob Herring on temporarily for Rory Best. Payne, first instinct is to run. Phil John stops him from running.
Back onside.
Pienaar inside the 22, so Jackson will try to keep it in.
Wait, okay, yep.
Didn't quite get hold of that. Well taken by the Scarlets. Darren Cade challenged. Scarlets will be looking to respond as Ulster did. Once again, it's George Earl. Alan Davis. The replacement, Gareth Owen. Good Ulster defence in the middle of the park.
This is going to be a real challenge for the Scarlets now. 14 minutes left on the clock. Their line has finally been breached, and could it be a tidal wave that engulfs them for the remaining 14 minutes of this match?
Well, that's what happened at Ravenhill in the corresponding proper league fixture way back in January. Ulster were 9-3 up at the interval and ran out 47-10 winners. Pack Ravenhill for at least the 10th time this season. First scrum for Rob Herring. Oh, solid Ulster scrum. Good work by Declan Fitzpatrick. And Phil John collapses it. Just slips his shoulder down under pressure, and that gives Ulster the penalty, and Pienaar the chance to put Ulster deep into Scarlets territory.
You just feel that the tide turning now. Ulster are starting to exert some authority on this match. They're controlling the pace at which it's playing, they're controlling where it's being played, and most importantly, they're controlling that scoreboard now.
Well, he's been one of Ulster's most popular adopted sons since he arrived at Ravenhill, and Ruan Pienaar really is justifying all the confidence that's been placed in him. Well, what memories from that old stand. Herring with his first throw. Almost half an hour gone. Ulster 10-3 up. Muller, Pienaar at the stretch. Jackson had to check. Stuart Olding, not normally used as a battering ram, but he set it up nicely. Pienaar, Robbie Dyack Good tackle by the Scarlets and by Ken Owens. Like it was Turnbull did it. Nick Williams, look at that, they're swarming all over him. Not letting the big New Zealander get any head of steam up. Great pass by Pinar Jackson. Not sure Tommy Bowe was expecting that. And the referee's bringing them back for a penalty against the Scarlets. And the man who was offside, number 13, Jonathan Davis.
It'll be interesting now to see whether Ulster replicate the earlier decision and kick for line, or they adopt to go for posts and increase that margin out of the 7 points.
Well, it's interesting because the two previous penalties when they kicked a touch were on the field from which Ruan Pinar would be more comfortable kicking goals, and now it's on the other side and they've actually gone for the posts. Interesting.
Yeah, and they'll be very happy if they can extend that margin out to 10 minutes left in this half, and it's Ulster really now that are finishing with a wet sail.
Well, he got 22 points against the Cardiff Blues last week. He's got 5 here against the Llanelli Scarlets tonight. So 22 Blues and 5 Reds. Should he have been playing in the World Snooker Championship? I forget I said that. Apologies. It's got underneath that. It needs to come in. And it hasn't, so Ruan Pinar has missed for the first time. Ulster still leading by 10 points to 3. And we're into the last 10 minutes of this first half. No sign at the moment of Rory Best coming back on.
Liam Williams, and for Ulster, number 14, Andrew Trimble.
Andrew Trimble back on the field, as is Liam Williams. So both sides restored to 15 men. Paddy Jackson needs to give that plenty of height. He has done. Tommy Bowe is chasing, as is Jared Payne. Great take by Liam Williams. Couldn't fault him in that aspect of his game, certainly. Thomas. Owen Williams, in fact, who spread it wide. Here he is again, into a bit of space. Well covered by Jackson. And again, looking to kick. And Williams gathers that, but then slips. Trimble straight into him. Likewise, Rob Herring. Also looking to enforce their second turnover of the evening. And they've done just that. Here comes the excellent Dyack. Oh, good pass. Pinar checks. Bowe at scrum half. Dyack again. What a work rate he's put in. Pinar on the narrow side to Tommy Bowe. Taken by North. Well taken up by Tom Court. Good tackling by the Scarlets and by Samson Lee. Nick Williams. Not making any real ground at the moment, but solid enough. Standing like a statue and handing the ball away. Round of applause from the Ulster fans. Darren Cave spells it yet again. Not having a good evening with the ball, Mr. Cave, so far.
Hands out wide, leave it!
Samson Lee comes round to help tidy it up. Scarlets under a wee bit of pressure now, well inside their own 22. Away by Williams. Tommy Bowe. Payne, you see that fertile brain ticking over. What's he going to do? He's going to run. He's going to make ground. He's going to find Tommy Bowe. Bowe's well tackled by George North. Referee's got the hand out for a penalty to Ulster. Pinar thinking about the narrow side. And Scarlets get pinged again.
Yeah, Ulster now clearly with the momentum. Penalties are going their way. You need to score points while the game's going your way. Ulster are doing that. Another opportunity presents itself.
Well, under instruction, one presumes, from Johan Muller. Pinar's going for the corner. We couldn't have found it any better had he taken the ball under his arm and put it down.
Yeah, when you say he's going for the corner, he is actually going for the corner, and he's put it in perfect position. Ulster did well in their initial pieces. We're seeing Nick Williams here just nonchalantly standing there like he's swatting flies away from the barbecue as he holds that ball up for the next player in.
It's my ball. How dare you think about taking it? Herring. Good take by Muller. into Dyack. Ulster trying to drive forward. Scarlets again have brought it down. Referee's mentioning 6 red. Here go Ulster for another try. That must be it. Wonderful drive by Ulster. Second try, and it's Robbie Dyack's got another one. What a season he's having, Robbie Dyack.
Yeah, everything from the kick to touch, the execution of the line out, the setup of that driving maul that eventually led to that try. Well orchestrated, well rehearsed, and welcome points on the board again for Ulster.
Well, Rory Best is coming on, but the throw from Rob Herring was absolutely perfect. And although there were 1 or 2 Scarlets bodies on the park, Ulster just hurtled over them. And look at Nick Williams leading from the front. And Dyack kept the ball, kept his cool, kept his composure, kept focus. And kept looking at the Scarlets line, and once he crossed it, that ball was always going to be dotted down. Terrific forward effort finished off by Dyack. He did it again. Off the post. Not quite. Not quite. But Ulster, 2 tries to 0 up, 15 points to 3 up, and about 5 minutes remaining. What a great forward effort that was, starting with the throw. So many components involved in this, Ryan, aren't there?
Yeah, the key one was Johan Muller managing to stay on his feet, not allowing the early sack, and then the transferring of the ball to the back, and you can see Dan Tui and Johan Muller reveling in that try.
He's had a great sequence, Robbie Dyack. He's been scoring tries for fun in the latter part of this season. Jared Payne back to Ruan Pinar, who should find his touch. Well chased by Liam Williams, who's nabbed by Andrew Trimble. Well set up by Williams. That's a bit loose. Sneeman lets it go. Payne covers. Perfect angle on the ball to find a very good touch by Jared Payne, who it was announced at the start of the week is going to stay with Ulster for another 3 seasons, so he's here until 2016, and in about 18 months time he becomes eligible for Ireland, and that will make life interesting.
Yeah, that's the key to that extension. It locks in that potential for Irish qualification, and with an eye towards that 2015 World Cup, he's obviously important to Ulster. We've seen that he's important to Ireland as well.
Owens throws, taken by Earl. McCusker at the back gets it. Nick Williams in, making a serious nuisance of himself. Here come the Scarlets, taken on by Gareth Owen, the replacement. Well away by the Scarlets. Aaron Shingler, one of an all-international back row. Good covering tackle by Tom Court. Williams, George North at his most dangerous. Just didn't have that extra gear. Taken on by Samson Lee. Alan Davis, Ken Owens. Stopped in his tracks again by Court, who's tackled his socks off tonight. Here come the Scarlets again. Liam Williams, good sidestep. Shoulder hit by Rory Best, knocked forward by the Scarlets. No advantage though to Ulster, and it'll be an Ulster scrum. The Scarlets cannot be allowed any room whatsoever. They're not going to lie down here.
No, but that's a missed opportunity for them. If they were to make this a serious contest in the second half, you felt that they needed to get something out of that in the last few minutes of this first half. That margin now at 12 points. If Ulster score next, the game could very quickly go away. But they are a team that's capable of scoring from anywhere. I'm sure they would have liked the luxury of a score just before half-time.
Large screen at the War Memorial End here at Ravenhill, so no hiding place for the transgressor. It's got a bit dark and dull, but there is the most delightful sunset.
He's coming off.
It looks as if there's going to be a replacement. Is it Phil John has cut, or somebody might be going off? No, I think it's the second row George Earl. I could hear Anna Rowland saying somebody split, they might as well go off. It's Tom Court, in fact. It's not one of the Scarlets, because he's getting a bit of treatment as well. Michael Webb, the Ulster team doctor, and Gareth Robinson down there. If Tom Court is cut, as was Rory Best, he'll have to go off and get something done with it. So they'll have to bring on Callum Black if that's the case. So Tom Court goes off to get a little bit of a repair done. Might just be his nose. When I say just his nose, prop forwards are as conscious of their looks as anybody else in the field.
Well, if he goes off now, there's 2 minutes plus the half-time break. They can take their time, make sure they do that one right, get him prepared for the second half.
Okay, time back on,
So
please.
Callum Black, who's been in every single matchday squad this season, comes on for Tom Court.
2 minutes.
Just a couple of minutes remaining. The TMO, Jim Ewell from Scotland, just informing Alain Roland.
Touch! Set!
Good scrum by Callum Black. Nick Williams picks up. Pienaar. Kick for Bo to chase. What a clever kick that is by Pienaar. Went into touch, but he's made some 50 or 60 metres. Well, that was a good scrum, a good pickup, a good transfer, and a clever kick.
An excellent execution, and with a couple of minutes left on the clock, that's where you want to be, opposition territory. You don't want to give them an opportunity through a cheap turnover to score points.
Well, Pienaar really is pulling all the strings here this evening. Ken Owens into a shortened Scarlets line-out. Now, can Ulster challenge? Well, they certainly tried.
Carry back in.
Knocked back into the 22, so they can't kick it from there. This is Josh Turnbull, and Ulster have exercised the choke tackle there now, and they're going to get the scrum. What a great piece of play by Nick Williams and by Rory Best and by Chris Henry. Great work by that Ulster trio.
A good understanding. Chris Henry, I think, getting in there early in that tackle, and then once they saw the opportunity, Paddy Jackson involved initially as well, but it's there where they sense the opportunity. Nick Williams adds his bulk, and then all of it is just holding the player up off the ground, creates that ball situation, and very interesting attacking proposition now for Ulster with seconds left on the clock.
Yes, Tommy Bowes directly behind the Ulster scrummage, which is rather interesting. Darren Cave is out on the left wing.
Touch! Set!
Another good Ulster scrum. Scarlets in all sorts of trouble. Ulster have got the penalty, so they should end the half with 3 more points. And at this stage, with 2 seconds to go, they must take it. But what a very good scrum. A little bit of a contretemps between Rob McCusker and Robbie Dyack. And it's high fives all round. Dyack doing some great work there. And Nick Williams sometimes doesn't control the ball too well at the back of the scrum, but that time he did.
Yeah, excellent work. 3 points vital again as you go into half-time. Keeps the momentum with Ulster really in control of this match.
Yeah. If we have a rattle, it breaks down. Depends on how much you're at. Yeah.
Neil Doak is having a word with referee Alain Roland about 1 or 2 finer points of law. In the meantime, it's Ruan Pienaar to stretch Ulster's lead to 15 points. And he's done exactly that. And what a good finish to what has been a pretty decent first half by Ulster, who are now 40 minutes away from a place in the 2012-13 Rabo Pro12 final. 2 well-taken tries, one by Tommy Bowe, one by Robbie Dyack from a driving maul across the opposition line. The rest of the points from Ruan Pienaar. But overall, Ryan, it hasn't been a bad display by the men in white.
Bit stuttery for the first 20 minutes, but then they really took their opportunities. They got down in opposition territory. Clinical finish by Tommy Bowe, and then some excellent work from that cohesive unit up front. Ulster now controlling this game.
Well, they'll have to kick on and make doubly sure, but at the moment Ulster in a very, very healthy position. Mark Anscombe will not have to read the riot act, I'm sure. He'll be just emphasising 1 or 2 things, but not making any mistakes, not giving away silly possession or silly penalties. But all in all, it will be a very happy Ulster changing room at the end of about 40 minutes to go to see if Ulster can get within striking distance of the first league title since 2006. Half-time as Ulster 18 and the Llanelli Scarlets 3.
Well, it feels like a cup tie, doesn't it? Intimidating atmosphere. far from error-free, but certainly very, very exciting. The stakes are high, the tension's built over at times. A double yellow card, but it's advantage Ulster at the moment thanks to those 2 tries. Lion Tommy Bowe stepping inside Lion George North. And then the try-scoring machine, Robbie Diak with the second before half-time. Ulster very much in control, 18 points to 3. Brent Cunningham and Tony McWhirter have been enjoying what's been a great first half, and Ulster certainly dominant and deserving of their lead.
Yeah, I think the first thing we have to say is you can definitely see this is a knockout game, can't you? The intensity is definitely there, the physicality. The atmosphere is just fantastic here. It's as good as I can recall. And we talked at the very beginning about the Ulster pack would need to dominate, they would need to be physical, and from 1 to 8 I thought they'd been magnificent. Nick Williams and Rory Best are like men possessed out there, but the rest of them as well, just fantastic display.
We'll talk about the Ulster attack in a moment, but the defence, Tony, has been absolutely key, hasn't it?
It's been outstanding, as Brent said, from 1 to 8. Nick Williams has brought yet another dimension to his game this evening, maybe something that we haven't come to see an awful lot of him this season in terms of making big hits, and there's 2 or 3 Denethley guys who are carrying I think the sore ribs at half time, let's put it that way. Muller's led from the front, Pienaar's pulled the strings at 9 beautifully, and Ulster have just been more savvy in their game in terms of their approach, but also in their execution.
And when the breakthrough came, great finish by Tommy Bowe.
Yeah, fantastic finish, and obviously it'd be nice to get one over one of his line counterparts, I'm sure, because I'm sure they'll be potentially vying for the same position. But again, you know, very, very good work from the forwards, very patient in the 22. I think that's what was good to see. A great pass there, great vision, and you know, Tommy Bowe not only has got lethal pace, but he shows great footwork there as well. But Rory Best again leading from the front, and you know, Ruan Pienaar directing again, seeing the space.
But quite interesting, Steve. It was only 3-0 at this stage, and Ulster picked up a penalty, which was quite conceivably inside kicking distance for Pienaar. They've elected to go to the corner. A couple of subsequent penalties again coming after that for Denethley and infringement. As Bryn said, they've had the patience to stay there, work it out. Great finish from Tommy Bowe.
One criticism of Ulster this season has at times the way they often switch off after they score, but tonight completely the opposite, and they turned the screw again with another great try.
No, they did, and they just looked very, very focused, and you can see the body language between the players that they are massively up for this game. And there's something in particular I really liked about this, which we'll see at the end of it. You know, again, great play. We talked about, you know, Johan Muller controlling things at the line out, and you know, again, the patience again, just bringing it to the back, focusing on where the gap is. But what I like about this, Tony, is look at the reaction here from Tui and Muller. Just don't quite see it in that photo, but I mean, it's just they were determined.
And they're all picking each other up, slapping the back. Come on, let's get back at it again. But at the end here, Stephen, they're almost running over. But again, the Denethley have been quite verging on they have verged on the illegal in the first half, and they've been on the wrong end of Alan Roland's whistle for most of it as well. But Ulster again just set it up, able to crab it across sideways, and they're almost running across there at the end. But again, technically it's a very hard thing to perfect.
And as you say, Bryn, that great shot of Johan Muller just putting his arm around Robbie Diak, the team looked like they're really enjoying it tonight, and Muller's influence yet again tonight has been vital, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Tony picked up very early that the first few lineouts straight on Johan Muller. He called it. He wanted to make sure that they were nice and secure. Don't go for any difficult throws to the back of the line to put pressure on each other. Just make sure to do the simple things. You know, again, we see here again, just straight up, nice and comfortable, and Pienaar getting the ball away.
Confidence, Stephen. Get your hooker into the game early. You know, a couple of simple down and gives. You know, you're able to give the backs ball, which then can set a target again to get the forwards into the game. And we touched earlier on about the defensive effort. That's maybe something that's slightly on the illegal side from Nick Williams, but my goodness, he's put himself around big style and a lot more legally than that as well.
I mean, I think their work at the breakdown has been absolutely crucial, and we saw at the very beginning a penalty go either way from Roland, and that was purely at the breakdown. I think Ulster have reacted much better to how Roland refs the game, and they've been very, very clinical in that area, and the Scarlets haven't quite got themselves into the game, and that's why we haven't seen some of their more dangerous backs really exploit some gaps.
And we've seen why Jared Payne has just signed a new 3-year contract. Down the line, he could be a very important player for Ireland as well when he qualifies through residency.
There's a great clip coming up here, and again, whenever we first saw it, we were saying kick the ball down, play the field position, and suddenly off the back of this, you see the ball coming wide from Paddy Jackson. Jared Payne ball in two hands again, keeping defenders interested, sees a hole, but goes through it, Stephen, and again, great options. See Tommy Bowe coming outside him at pace, but has that footballing ability to drop it onto his wrong foot and put it in the corner.
And you can see as well there with Tommy chasing this and George North coming back, there's just a little bit more urgency, I think, from the Ulster players right through from 1 to 15, and I think that's what's seeing them through so far at the moment.
On the downside, double yellow card in the first half. Both of them fair enough, do you think?
I think when you see the replay, yes, is the answer to that. To be honest, it's
Andrew will take one for the team. I think.
I think Williams is coming initially, and I think taking Trimble out of the play, and he's reacted with a punch. You can't do that. It's a yellow card. Williams is in. He's counter-reacted as well, and then he's obviously had a go at him. There's a few digs been thrown. The interesting thing was that I think if they had not had a fight there, it was a try. It was a try in the corner. But
yeah. It perhaps shows what at stake. Not the kind of thing we want to see, but it shows just how much this match means to these teams.
No, absolutely.
Today.
Nobody's going to condone that sort of behaviour, but whenever you're playing for the stakes that are involved tonight, emotion is going to spill over. I think a yellow card was the right call there.
Okay, thank you, Tony Bryn, for the moment. Now we're sitting perched up here in our very nice studio in the newsstand, and of course, as you can see, there are two more being built at either end of the ground. And after tonight's game, the original stand right on the far side will be knocked down, and work will begin on the last phase of this £14 million redevelopment. So before the demolition begins, we brought some of the men responsible for the magic in front of the stand to take a seat in it for the very last time.
Ulster have won a most famous victory at Ravenhill this afternoon.
The big memory of this ground is our Grand Slam of 1948, where we played Wales here. Ireland hadn't even won a Triple Crown since 1899, and we were playing Wales at this ground, and you know, wonderful to look around and remember where Barney Mullen scored the try up in that corner there, and the stand is going up, and Jack Daly scoring the try at the corner here, and of course his wonderful remark walking back, we were leading 6-3, and Daly saying, if Wales don't score again, he said, I'll be canonised.
You know, it's nearly 60 years ago, 1957, that I first came here as a schoolboy and changed in the dressing room down here. I find it amazing. It was 20 years later, 1977, that I played my last game for Ulster here, and I probably went into the dressing room and changed at the same peg as I did as a schoolboy with Ulster schools.
You know, looking here at Ravenhill brings back a lot of memories for those of us who, even as schoolboys, dreamt of playing in the Schools Cup final, which I never did.
Luckily enough, we were the ones who came through that day. All the players and all the fans and support cheering us on as we walked up the steps to lift the cup for the last time. It was magical.
Sometimes when you sit down in your quiet moments and you think back over those years, you wonder not only how did you survive, but I remember the Monday mornings and the aches and the pains trying to go to work. But it all stemmed from here, Ravenhill. That was the place to play.
My first memory of coming to Ravenhill and sitting in the stand is a long time ago, but almost feels like yesterday, to watching Willie Anderson lead Ulster against the All Blacks and understanding, I think for the first time, probably the passion and the expectation that comes from the crowd when they're watching Ulster play.
I think we won the championship 10 times, and probably the pinnacle was beating Australia here. We've got stands going up here around about us, and those days people were crawling onto the pitch and standing in the corners, and health and safety didn't really work in those days.
For really the next 20 years, most of my memories of this place are much more of what's on the pitch. Looking around here now and seeing all the building work that's going on, I think we're all very excited and hopefully create many more of the memories that, for us as players, for people who've come and supported, for me over the last few years watching the game up in the stand, they'll create those memories and allow us to achieve success beyond what's already been done.
Well, some fantastic memories there, but time is up for the old grandstand. But when will the revamp be finished? Well, the man who can answer that question is with Gavin Andrews, the Ulster Chief Executive, Shane Logan.
Well, Shane, I imagine you're getting the right kind of send-off for the old stand tonight.
I hope so. We're only halfway there, but there's been a magnificent crowd, magnificent atmosphere, and we're absolutely delighted. We've sold out nearly every game this year, and to provide for our supporters, we need to get up to the 18,000 mark.
What can the fans expect to see, and when will it be ready?
Well, the fans can expect to see new stands on all three sides, taking it to 4 new stands in total, another 3,000 hospitality spaces, the museum and education centre, and we think something that is unrivalled in European rugby.
The product's getting there on the pitch. How important then is it that Ulster makes this leap off it?
Well, the first thing was always to get the professional game right, and but this is the flagship of rugby in Ulster. So this being right, the facilities in the stand being right, and the clubs and schools growing vibrantly, we've got to move in balance on all three fronts.
Okay, Shane, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Plans sound very good. Bryn, Tony, can you see Ulster finishing off this game in style tonight?
Well, quite simply, they've got to just continue exactly what they've done in that first half. Do it for the first 20 to 30 minutes, and then maybe in the last 10, open it up a little bit more and score a few tries.
Yeah, big key emphasis and concentration, Stephen. Don't let Lynette get back into the game in the first 10 minutes, and Ulster can see this home comfortably.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. I tell you what, the crowd are up for this one tonight. Tremendous atmosphere at Ravenhill. It's time to go back to Ryan and Jim.
Well, a packed Ravenhill is simply bursting at the seams, and thus far those flags are being waved by people who are simply bursting with pride at what their side has achieved this season. It's by no means done and dusted, but there's one hand on a place in the final, which is due to be in a couple of weeks' time at the RDS in Dublin. Because Ravenhill couldn't facilitate 18,000 at this stage, then Ulster Rugby had to nominate their preferred ground, and that was it. Tomorrow night's semi-final is between Leinster, losing finalist in the last 3 years, and the ever-improving Glasgow, so it'll be interesting to see the outcome of that one. And in the meantime, Owen Williams gets the second half underway. Ulster with a wind at their backs, taken in by the excellent Jared Payne, who's tackled by George Earl. Pinar is outside his 22. The wind will carry that. Well, two Scarlets made a mess of it. Trimble has gathered it in. He's got Rory Best there. Here goes Best. Great drive by Rory Best. Wonderful layback. Dyack gets it away. Declan Fitzpatrick. Paddy Jackson bounces off a defender. Great start by Ulster. Stuart Olding still there. Dyack, who's had a great end of this season. Muller, Ulster's captain, looking for only his second league try. Pinar, Trimble. Trimble, strength from Trimble. Payne was at his elbow. Here's Pinar, Rory Best. Well set up. Ulster again. Williams. Well stopped by Phil John. Ulster looking for a quicker ball. Referee's in having a little word, and he's given the scrum to Ulster. Tom Court is back on the field, incidentally, and I have a feeling the Scarlets have made another replacement, because I'm seeing number 22 Alan Thomas on the field.
Ulster continuing where they left off, applying that pressure, and very simple equation for us. You feel if they're next to score, they'll be very difficult to beat. And Nick Williams just giving a low five there to Andrew Trimble. It's a team that's got a unity of purpose this evening. They're up for the battle physically. Miscommunication there. Andrew Trimble pounces, and a lot of options for Ulster. Everyone looking to get their hands on the ball.
What a great piece of support by Rory Best. And here's Dyack, who's scored his 7th try of this season in this league competition. Dan Toohey it was who took it forward, not the skipper Johan Muller. Ulster in a pretty good attacking position. Good scrounging position by Declan Fitzpatrick. Been plagued by injury over the last number of seasons. Declan Fitzpatrick, the Irish international tight head prop, only his 6th start for Ulster. But even fit then, he obviously has to give way to John Afoe, who's got a slight hamstring problem, nothing too serious, we are informed. So Ulster with 2 first-half tries, courtesy of Tommy Bowe and Robbie Dyack, in a good position to press for another one.
Touch! Set!
Ulster scoop the ball back. Pienaar, Trimble will have a go. Gets it to Darren. Cave for the line. He's held up half a metre short. Tom Court drives. He's got it over. Great effort by Tom Court. His 9th league try. And he is in danger of being squeezed to death by his teammates. Try number 3 for Ulster. Well, I think Alan Rowland may well be going upstairs. I don't think the Ulster crowd will let him away with that.
And it looked like he awarded the try, but protestations from the Scarlets team.
Yes or no, please. Thank you.
Well, his hand certainly seemed to be up. He didn't know the whistle. He had his hand up. The Scarlets have complained. Rob McCusker asked him, is that a try or not? And he's gone upstairs to Jim Yule. Well, it was Darren Cave, who, to be fair, had a fumble or 2 with ball in hand, but what great strength, and he set that up, and look at Court, so alert, great body position, great strength. Well, I can't see why that can't be given. Here goes Court, look at that, great determination. Ken Owens did his best. I think the ball's down there somewhere. All of Ulster think it is.
Well, the retreating players are offside for a start from the Scarlets, so you could argue penalty try if it wasn't awarded on merit.
Well, if he's given the try, and he thinks it is a try, is there any need for him to go upstairs? Well, he has given the try. The try's been given, unless the hand is up in the air for the penalty for the offside, but I don't think it is. Jim Yule has just said in Alan Rowland's ear that I'm still looking. Well, there'll be
tremendous incision from Darren Cave, coming at real pace, and took 3 Scarlets defenders to bring him down, and then Tom Court pounces. No way 3 and 2 are onside for the Scarlets, and
number 9 is what they want. Number 9.
You can see them pointing out they seem to have seen something that's prevented the try.
Scarlets are making a change at scrum half. Gareth Davis is going to come on, wearing number 21. And we're still waiting to see the outcome of Jim Yule, the Scottish man's deliberations. So off goes Alan Davis, and on comes Gareth Davis. Well, it's very difficult to see that. I can maybe just see a little bit of the ball there. I think Tom Court has got that down. There is the line you can see. Ken Owens is doing a bit of holding up, but Tom Court is strong enough. But there is a little glimpse somewhere, I think, of that ball going down. And I think Tom Court has got that try, but it's not my decision. And the referee gave the try.
I have a decision for you. You may award the try.
Thank you.
It took a long time, but Tom Court got there. And Ulster have got a 3rd try, and surely the semi-final place is looking more and more secure.
Yeah, when you're away from home and you've got that sort of margin ahead of you, you're looking at the scoreboard, you're looking at the time left on the clock, and they'll roll their sleeves up, but hell of a lot of work to do there for them to get back in this game.
Max, Andy, will you tell number 6 Red that he's going off there?
Well, it all came from a very clever kick and chase by Ulster. The Scarlets are making another change. Aaron Shingler is about to go off, and the Tongan international Sione Timani is going to come on. But it's back to Ruben Pienaar. Well, I heard somebody saying golf ball ends, get in the hole. It's not about getting it in the hole, it's getting it between the posts, and he's done just that. So Ulster have now stretched their lead to 22 points, and Timani is going on the Tongan World Cup number 8, but Ulster leading now by 25 points to 3.
And the crowd can sit back and enjoy the rest of this half. You feel the result is fairly secure, obviously, with 22-point margin, and the coaches and management and just a little edge taken off this game, but they'll want the players to remain focused and see it through.
Well, that hasn't gone the 10 metres. Ulster had the option of receiving the kick again. or taking the scrummage in the middle of the park, and I'm pretty sure they'll go for the scrummage in the middle of the park.
And with the dominance Ulster have got, you feel another score, and the management might look at key personnel within this team that they may want to take off to ensure they're available in 2 weeks' time.
Well, you never know with the Scarlets. I do have a feeling, though, that they might not just be able to come back from this one. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Ulster leading by 25 points to 3. At this stage in the regular league season, you would have thought, well, 3 tries and let's go for the bonus point, but they don't count. Here's Williams, Pienaar to keep the lid on the whole thing. Fabulous kick by Pienaar. He is a maestro.
He's done it for a couple of years, and he's certainly doing it tonight. In these big matches, you want your key men to dictate the game, and none have done it better than Ruan Pienaar. Good to see Ulster still taking the right options. Even though they have this lead, they're not throwing it about. They're playing field position, doing what they did to establish this lead.
Well, no sign of a smile from Mark Anscombe, David Humphreys, or indeed Alan Clark, who's done such a good job with the Ulster scrum this season. That's a very good clearance kick. Andrew Trimble has kept it in, just about. Payne on the retreat. What a kick by Payne. Trimble with the chase. Awful bounce. Great take by Dan Toohey. Cleared out by Court. Pienaar. Front foot ball, but Payne. Paddy Jackson has to check. Rory Best. Back again to Jackson. Stuart Olding. Clever little kick through. Here goes Cave. Across comes the replacement, Gareth Owen. And Scarlets now looking a little bit more ragged.
It's Ulster once again deep in Scarlets territory. Clever little kick through that just kept the move going. Difficult options for the Scarlets. Did well to actually keep the ball in play. Possibly another pass could have been on to see what developed, but lots of pressure coming through from Ulster.
Scarlets have a man down injured. I think it's Ken Owens, the hooker, the Welsh international.
Okay. There was one of his own players in, I'm afraid, when he came in.
I think there was a collision between Owens and one of his own Scarlets players, so that's a little bit unfortunate.
That's okay, that's okay.
But they have the pretty useful Emir Phillips on the bench, if it is indeed Ken Owens. I think it is. Well, there's a buzz of expectation around Ravenhill. Wonderful sunset here. There is the first of the 4 new stands. This one has been in use. We've got used to this one over the last few years, and 2 nearly completed, and then the final phase will be done, which should be done by well before this time next year. Rob McCusker, 5 times cap for Wales, who missed the game last week because of injury, has returned and hoped his presence would galvanise a Scarlet side that were unfortunately, and you hate to see and hear that sort of thing, booed off the pitch at Parky Scarlets last week. There's Phil John facing the camera, and numbers 4 and 5, 2 gentlemen from the Republic of South Africa. George Earl, the 26-year-old, Johan Sneeman, also 26. They had a season together playing as lock forwards for the Golden Lions before signing up at the start of this year with the Clonethley Scarlets. And there's a young man who's been tempted by offers to leave the Scarlets despite having signed a long-term contract. Samson Lee, not the tallest prop in the world, but very, very strong. Liam Williams in the middle, Jonathan Davis with a familiar headgear on, hands and hips, probably thinking about Australia in less than a month's time.
And the unfortunate thing is there aren't too many backs replacements left for the Scarlets to use to take some of their prospective lines off. They wouldn't have given up the game yet.
Yeah, no problem.
They'll give it another 10-15 minutes, but it really is difficult now. Already out to 22, more than 3 converted tries. Difficult proposition they're facing.
Well, Ken Owens seems to have got a bit of a more serious bang than we thought, and of course everything is very, very precautionary. If there's any slight doubt at all, he will be as immobilized as is possible, and they brought the stretcher on, and all the padding in his neck will be put in a brace just in case, and they'll take him off on the stretcher, and all the other players will be hugely sympathetic and very concerned. But their main focus is on this game, and they'll have to try to keep warm. Roland is running over, I think, to have a word with his touch judge on the far side, just to see if he can glean anything from that. there's nothing more he can do. The medical men will make Ken Owen as comfortable as possible, and will get him off the field. Well, that's interesting. There's a little bit of a conversation going on between Johan Sneeman and perhaps some of the Scarlets backroom staff, because obviously they do have a bit of a problem. They can't bring on another back because they've used all their backs replacements. And here's a nice little gesture. Rory Best, who knows Ken Owen very well from international level, is going over and saying, "I'm sorry, old son." And what a nice gesture that is by Rory Best. But then that's what you'd expect from Rory Best.
Yeah, measure of the man, leader within an Ulster context, also part of that leadership group with Ireland, and facing up to that immense disappointment of non-selection for the Lions by putting everything into the white jersey.
Well, this was the Robbie Dyack try from just before half-time, the one that really has set, we would hope, Ulster on the way. And it's not, in fact, there's a little bit of the action. I think there's Ken Owen in the middle of all that. This was Jared Payne. This says, yes, I'm just thinking, this is the second try. We actually went to it to get a little bit more of the build-up than we had anticipated. So that is the second try by Ulster. And in reverse order, as they say in Miss World, this is the first try. So we're going to go back to the one the week before. Now this is the one. There's that wonderful thrust by Darren Cave. Great strength. George North put in a good tackle, and Tom Court picked it up and drove over. And just, well, it's held off for best part of 50 minutes, and it's coming chucking down. I don't think it's going to last, but there's a lot of nasty cloud around, and well, that'll not that will certainly have an effect on the ball handling and so on. But it's been a glorious night at Ravenhill, and the hold up is for the injury to Ken Owens, the Llanelli Scarlets hooker, with Ulster leading by 25 points to 3.
And with that margin, as the rain comes down, it's going to make scoring even more difficult. Handling conditions will be difficult. Playing that open style of rugby is going to be challenged as well. So to have the luxury of that lead as conditions worsens certainly plays into Ulster's favour.
Well, that's a little bit more than a little summer drizzle, but they seem to be reasonably well protected. And even if they're not sure, they don't care, because Ulster are. Well, there's a man who's more concerned about his head than his pint. Has he got something on the top of that glass? Yes, he has. There's a plastic glass with a wee plastic cover. The last thing you want to do is get the black stuff diluted. And herself was thinking of many of those as he had, and what's he going to be like when he gets home. And keep those little curls nice and dry. Well, we've been delayed for about 6 minutes, and they've got Ken Owens up, and he's going to go off, and one hopes that that's only precautionary, as is always the case. And a very generous round of applause from the capacity crowd here at Ravenhill for the Llanelli Scarlets and Welsh hooker Ken Owens, and we wish him all the best, and wish him a speedy recovery, and hopefully he does recover in time to go with the Welsh team on their 2-test tour of Japan next month. Well, that sudden downpour, I don't think will have dampened Ulster's spirits at all.
Time back on, please.
Emma Phillips is on for the Llanelli Scarlets. Rory Best, another Best Muller double act. Here goes Chris Henry. Declan Fitzpatrick does a great job in clearing out. Henry's got himself twisted the wrong way, but he's presented it. Dan Tui. Good switch by Pienaar. Tommy Bowe looking for work. Hardly seen him apart from following up a chase and of course scoring the first try. Tui again. Scarlets up very quickly in Ulster faces, and Ulster have conceded about 5 metres.
It's okay.
Pienaar, well taken by Jackson. Cave, who set up the third try, does well again. Much better second half from Darren Cave. Pienaar, Jackson, Bow's in front of him. Oh, the referee's let that go, as is the touch judge. It's a very clever kick. I'm pretty sure that Tommy Bow was a metre ahead, but it wasn't spotted.
It's something Ulster have done well all night, establishing field position through the boot. Ruan Pinar's done it, Paddy Jackson on this occasion. It's just that awareness of where the space is, pushing the opposition back, and they've spent a huge amount of time in opposition territory, and the points have flowed from that.
Emma Phillips, stolen by Ulster, but well retrieved by Josh Turnbull, who barreled through the Ulster lineout. That touched an Ulster hand. Gathered in by Bow. Jared Payne. Oh, great appreciation of space by Payne and Bow. There goes Tommy Bow. Taken in by Tom Court. Jackson. Henry has to give it. Does give it. Fitzpatrick, lovely stuff. Here's Payne. Ulster within striking distance of try number 4. Jackson.
No.
Oh, great collision. Dan Toohey came off the better of that one. And his opposite number, George Earl, is flattened. Paddy Jackson. Trimble ran a good line to release Jackson.
Release it.
Pinar again. Toohey. Johan Muller in to help his second row partner. Pinar. Cave. Has a go. Gets through. Declan Fitzpatrick looks for a pass. Couldn't quite get it away. And Cave all of a sudden is starting to really hit his straps.
Another good interchange there as we see another Scarlets player down. He's taken a heavy knock to the head.
Time is off, please.
Tried to get back to his feet, but to no avail, and Ulster now forced to into another stoppage after a very promising lead-up.
Well, this is just awful for the Scarlets. Not just in terms of the way the game was going, but in terms of the injury toll, and they will be pretty glad, I think, it's the end of the season. It looks like George Earl, the second row, is done.
They're reflective of the physical nature of this encounter. The intensity has been of the utmost, and that's being reflected in the casualty list now, particularly on the Scarlet side.
I can see Callum Black warming up on the far side. I think, Ryan, you might be right. I suspect that Ulster will gradually introduce one or two players. One or two could do with a little bit of game time, but Dan Toohey has certainly put himself about, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's really come to the fore in that ball-carrying responsibility, able to take the ball into contact in heavy traffic. Clever interchange. Tommy Bow finding some more space again. Excellent tackle. The ball kept alive, which is key. We see it going into the wider channel. Darren Cave once again. He's looked good, and if that had just gone to hand, it would have been Rory Best under the post.
This is Jared Payne on the charge. Quite physical, quite prepared to take on the opposition. Robbie Dark as ever in support, and Rory Best with a nose like a bloodhound for the ball. So we had a stoppage for about 6 or 7 minutes for the unfortunate Ken Owens. I don't know whether another stretcher is going to be required. I think he's sitting up. He's just got really thumped, and it is indeed George Earl, Durban born. And on comes the Australian Jake Ball. Qualifies for Wales through his Welsh father.
He's coming off. Okay. He's coming off. Yeah, number 19's coming on. Yeah. Okay. No.
So unfortunately, no stretcher required.
Good effort.
George Earl is going to go off, and Jake Ball is coming on for the Scarlets to play his 15th game. He went in to tackle Dan Toohey and came off second best. Toohey dropped the shoulder perfectly, and he does look a little bit wobbly. Well, it's been a stop-start second half here at Ravenhill. Ulster 18-3 up at the interval. Tries by Tommy Bow and Robbie Dyack. A conversion and 2 penalties by Ruan Pinar. Tom Court got the second half off to a great start for Ulster. And after a long spell with the TMO, the try was given. And Pinar kicked the conversion, 25-3. So we say farewell to George Earl. And we will go back to the scrummage.
Touch! Set!
Scarlet scrum. Good squeeze by Ulster. They've whipped it round. Gareth Davis, the replacement, gets it away. Owen Williams with the kick. Well covered by Payne. Gives it to Bow. Ulster back to halfway. Seems to be an extra man or two there. Nice pass by Trimble. Well picked up by Stuart Olding. And he's got it away to Cave. Chris Henry gets it across the 10-metre line. Pienaar in quickly. Nick Williams. Soft hands by Nick Williams. Pienaar got shunted as the Scarlets put in a fabulous piece of counter-rucking. Gareth Davis, a little bit lucky to get away with just a penalty against him after putting a foot in an opponent last week against Treviso. Good driving forward by Jonathan Davis. Scarlets have knocked it on. Ulster getting the advantage. Declan Fitzpatrick in the outside half position where he doesn't really want to be, I'm sure. Here's Payne. Andrew Trimble. Now Chris Henry. Stuart Olding. Pienaar in quickly. Payne in outside half. Declan Fitzpatrick. Well set up. Good support by Court. Also give away the penalty. Fitzpatrick hanging on in the tackle.
Yeah, just a little bit isolated there. Not enough support players to be able to get there quickly. Once the Scarlets got that dominant body position, very difficult to dislodge from there. But again, it's Ulster playing in opposition territory, controlling the tempo of the game. Possession is going all their way, and really looking at a tough opposition for the Scarlets to come back from.
And I guess, Ryan, when you have a break for 6 or 7 minutes for an injury and then a break for another 3 or 4, it's very difficult to sort of pick the momentum up again, which Ulster will have to do.
Yeah, Ulster were in a real rhythm, and that can get disrupted very easily, but they've shown that they've got the appetite for it tonight, and they look like going on with this match.
Phil John, who made his Scarlets debut way back in 1999. This is the replacement hooker, Phillips. Stolen again, it seems, by Ulster. Pienaar's outside is 22, so he may decide to put it down the near touchline. He's done just that. That might not. Yeah, that's fine. Taken by George North. Caught by Chris Henry. Referee has called for the maul. So if this stops, Ulster will get the put into the scrum. Scarlets are still going forward. They haven't got it on the ground, and Ulster will get the scrum. Terrific play initially by Chris Henry.
Yeah, once again, he's come to the fore. They've dominated the breakdown. They've taken their chances when they can get a player who's upright into contact to get numbers around him, almost get that tripod that he can't find a way to ground. And when they do get to ground, there's so many bodies piled up, the ball doesn't come out, and they're awarded the feed to the scrum.
Well, great steal at the line out by Dan Toohey, who's had a pretty impressive game. Another man pushing for a place on the Irish tour to North America. And look at Rory Best getting in there. Warren Gatland, are you watching?
Yeah, tremendous work at the heart of it once again, toiling away at the coalface, numbers 1 through to 8. Ulster are the team that's won the battle of the gain line, and that ascendancy at the breakdown has materialised across the park. Set piece, they're now dominating line out, scrum, all facets of play going Ulster's way.
Well, there's still the best part of half an hour to go here. Also leading by 25 points to 3 tries.
Okay. Crouch. Touch. Set.
Pienaar pops it in. Scarlets try to get a squeeze on Ulster. Keep it straight. It collapses unavoidably, and the referee asks them to do it again.
Two, you're going in. 3 on 1. You need to try and stay out, the two of you, okay? You're both going in on your respective hookers. Keep it up. Okay? Yeah.
Referee having a little word with Declan Fitzpatrick and Phil John.
Wait for my call. Slow. Okay? Yeah. Second. Head in. Nice. Crouch. Sick. Touch.
Well, he's not happy about something else.
Gentlemen, I didn't give a set call to either side. Okay? Just please wait, all right?
Well, they engaged before
We get
the set was given.
Well, then hopefully everything else will follow after.
Just looking, I think Ulster maybe warming up a replacement on the far side. Maybe not, no. mistaken. Well, it's been a pretty titanic encounter up there with the heavyweights in the front row. That's much better. Good control by Ulster, good position by Williams. Good take by Jackson. Didn't make a great contact, but it's bounced nastily enough. Taken in by the replacement, Alan Thomas. Jackson with a wee bit of interest. Well covered back by George North, who glances inside and saw that a couple of his compatriots were in front of him. Well placed by Jared Payne. Well, so trying to keep it fairly tightish, it would seem. Well, they've run this one. And then the kick. Jackson with Trimble outside him. Somebody's managed to pass the ball. Owen Williams kicks it. Here's Trimble into a little bit of space. Oh, tripped over himself. I don't know how he managed to do that. Jonathan Davis into touch, and it's going to be an Ulster line out, and Andrew Trimble can't believe it. I can't remember the name of the horse that fell in the last couple of 100 yards of an old Grand National, but Andrew Trimble did a fair impression there. He did absolutely the right thing. The weight was perfect and his run was perfect, and what happened? He got his toe stuck in a divot. He made contact with that, you know, Ryan, he was away.
Yeah, very good little chip through, and then, as you say, just caught the turf as he went to kick that on. He scored a huge number of tries for Ulster this season, and there possibly could have been another one on the score sheet.
Ulster are making a replacement. Ricky Lutton is coming on. And Samson Lee has gone off to be replaced by Jacobi Adriansa, who's played twice against Ulster this season. So another South African on for the Llanelli Scarlets. And for Ulster, Ricky Lutton, who's had a pretty good season for Ulster. What a take. Pinar. Nobody offside. Great take by the Scarlets. Andy Fenby got up there. Gareth Davis gets away from Nick Williams. Phil John at scrum half. Not his natural position, I would suggest. Well covered by Jared Payne. What a dummy. He's got it away, Pinar. Dyack. Ulster trying to regain that head of steam. Pinar again. Paddy Jackson. Liam Williams covers well. And gets it away. Taken quickly. Nothing wrong with that. Pinar. Up it goes. Well taken. And Pinar gets in and gets the ball carrier. Tom Court there to support. Gareth Davis. Phil John pressed into service as a halfback yet again. Well, there's no room through it there. Great tackle by Rory Best.
Use it!
Scarlets really running out of ideas at this stage. What a hit by Williams. Another Scarlets player really felt the weight of the enormous New Zealander. That's a bit loose. But it's worked out all right for the Scarlets. Andrew Trimble, plenty of time. Good covering by the Scarlets. Gareth Thomas gets it away to Andy Fenby. Swallowed up by Nick Williams. Good drive by Ulster. Dyack was in there. Ulster shunting forward. They can squeeze the Scarlet into touch. It's be their line-out, but they've done better than that. They've got the scrum.
It's been an outstanding defensive performance from Ulster. Every facet of it. Their line speed's been very good. Their commitment to the tackle epitomised by Nick Williams, who put in another earth-shattering tackle earlier in that phase. And then their identification of when to get the player off the ground. Ruan Pinar on that occasion, aided by Tom Court. They're piling bodies into the contact area, but they're doing it with a lot of intelligence as well. There's that hit from Nick Williams again. Fearsome, that body contact that he's brought to bear on the Scarlets plays. And there's the intelligence, holding the player up. Rory Best, unsurprisingly, involved in that again, and Nick Williams at the heart of it.
Paddy Jackson is going off. Paul Marshall is coming on, so Ruan Pinar will move to outside half position. The Scarlets have replaced another prop forward. Welsh international Rodri Jones has come on and is taking over from the great Phil John. Replacements coming on as ever, thick and fast. We're still in the third quarter of this game. So Ricky Lutton, who's improved leaps and bounds in the latter part of this season, against the Welsh international Rodri Jones. Jones gets a bit of a squeeze on there. That was a good Scarlet scrummage, knocked forward by Ulster, and Nick Williams in an offside position. Andrew Trimble spilled it forward. Well, Ulster just have to settle themselves now, because that really was the worst set piece of the evening. Rodri Jones really got inside Ricky Lutton and gave him a bit of a turning.
The Ulster set piece has been key to this performance. It's really the spine where it comes from, and just a lack of concentration there. They got in amongst it and caused a bit of havoc, and an opportunity, a rare opportunity, it must be said, for the Scarlets now to try and cobble something together, but with so many disruptions to their team, difficult to run smooth patterns.
Emmer Phillips with the throw. Tamani knocks it back untidily. Gareth Davis looks to have a go himself, and he's got through. Awful Ulster defence. Here goes Davis. Scarlets are coming back into this game thanks to Gareth Davis. What a solo try. The Ulster defence less than perfect, but the finish was precision of the highest order.
They're not wasting any time on the kick either, turning that 5 into a 7, and it'd be miraculous if they could come back from here, but an outstanding individual effort from that. Disrupted again at the set piece. It was a nasty little tap down that created the confusion in the running lines, and exploited very well. Got through the grasp, and then a clever little finish with a couple of steps past the outstretched arms of Paul Marshall to dot down under the pass.
Well, Ulster will just have to strengthen their resolve, because that's the worst period of play in this game. And here come the Scarlets again, tails up. Rory Best puts in a good tackle. Likewise Trimble, the try scorer, gets it away. McCusker sweeps it back, very untidy. Taken in by the Scarlets close to the line, also looking for a turnover. Dangerous stuff, Jonathan Davis. And that's going to be an Ulster line-out.
Then Ulster back where they want to be, inside opposition territory. Line out now on the 22, and Ruan Pinar just passing the call into Paul Marshall, what sort of ball he wants from this. Ulster have used full line out on most occasions. It's functioned very well, no need to change that. I think Williams lurking ominously just outside of the line out, 10 metres and no more.
Well, what was that? Look again, a splendid individual try by the replacement scrum half of the Scarlets. Paul Marshall gets it away well. Nick Williams straightens, bounces off Andy Fenby. Marshall, Pinar at 10, inside the cave. Good tackle. Shrill blast from the referee. It's going to be a penalty to Ulster against Snyman, the second row forward, and I think Ruan Pinar will just go for goal and just settle Ulster down a little bit.
Yeah, composed stuff there. The team 15 points separating them. Knock another 3 over. Just take the sting out of the Scarlets, who may feel they're back in this game after scoring the try.
Yes, it was Johan Snyman came in and took the Ulster support player, who was Andrew Trimble, out before he had a chance to receive the pass from Darren Cave. Well, Ulster really had built up quite a head of steam, rushing into a 25-3 lead with 3 minutes of the second half gone. So we've had 20 minutes, and Ulster haven't added to that total, but I think that's about to change. Pienaar with 4 from 6, hoping to make this 5 from 7 in terms of his kick stat, and he does just that. That'll give Ulster a little bit of extra confidence, so they're now leading by 28 points to 10.
Been interesting to see Rory Best and Tom Court having an animated discussion about what went on in that last scrum, just revising their tactics to make sure that doesn't happen again, and the two of them forming a pretty lethal partnership over the years for Ulster.
Also going to bring on another replacement. It's not a bad restart kick. Gathered in by the Scarlets, the man who gave away the penalty. Snyman sets it up. Davis, Phillips, Roderick Jones. This is more like what we expected from the Scarlets. Davis again, the replacements playing their part. Nicely away. Good tackle by Dan Toohey and by Johan Muller. Davis to Manny on the charge. Runs into Williams and Ricky Lutton. This is better from the Scarlets. Phillips into Chris Henry. Davis again. Jake Ball gets away from the first Ulster tackle. Davis again, better from the Scarlets. Williams, Josh Turnbull. Well set up by the Scarlets. Well, they're by no means finished. Good tackle by Johan Muller on the replacement prop, Jacobi Adrianse. Pienaar with the tackle. Scarlets told by the referee to use it, and they do. Jones sets it up. Roderick Jones. Adrianse again, who's been prominent since he came on. They had to check there. Snyman. Well, another Scarlets try could make this game very interesting. Good tackle by Chris Henry. Scarlets trying to winkle the ball back. They've done just that. Route one for the Ulster line, and they're still going.
Use it.
They seem to have an overlap if they can shift this, and they haven't seen it. Now they have it. Great tackle by Stuart Olding. Roderick Jones leaves it, then decides to pick it up and drive. And Ulster, under a lot of pressure, held firm, but will be very relieved to have got that penalty.
Yeah, that desperation in defence certainly evident on that passage of play, and pressure relieving penalty now. Ruan Pienaar will knock this one as close to halfway as he can, and Ulster will start from scratch again.
Ulster making a few replacements. So Dan Toohey is going off, and I think Ian Henderson will be coming on. And Stuart Olding is going off. And Peter Nelson is coming off. So that may mean that Jared Payne goes into the middle of the park. Darren Cave will move to inside centre. Jared Payne to outside centre. And Ian Henderson will slot into the second row where he started last week against the Cardiff Blues. Good crisp hit by Pienaar. He hasn't found his touch, or the touch judge's flag goes up on the far side. Ulster will be happy about that one as well.
He must be in the field of play when he lands, okay?
His kicking out of hand has been exceptional tonight, and slotting across to that 10 channel now. Paul Marshall comes in here, look to lift the tempo as he always does. Ulster going for a shortened line out. I'm sure the Scarlets won't envy the sight of Nick Williams standing in the middle of the park.
He's in the middle of the park, as is Chris Henry. Tommy Bowe lurking ominously behind them, waiting to come in from the 10-metre line. But 14 minutes remaining. Ulster 28-10 up. Taken by Henderson. Marshall. Bit loopy. There's Williams. Well, they were waiting for him, but there was nothing they could do. He's across the 10-metre line. Good switch by Marshall. Peter Nelson. Probably about the width of Ravenhill Road forward.
You can see that channel opening up for the pass, inviting it on, but this is where it started for Ulster. It's the big ball carriers getting over the advantage line, and they don't come any bigger than that man Williams as he plows forward with 3 red shirts hanging off him.
Tom Court has gone off. Callum Black has come on. Well, the idea was right, the execution less so. So down Tui and Tom Court, job done for them this evening. Peter Nelson, who's normally a full-back, and that's where he's playing on for Ulster.
Yeah, Nick Williams just leaving the field, and you can see what the Ulster faithful in that old stand thought of his contribution this evening.
Robbie Jack will move to number 8 to accommodate Mike McComish on the flank. Now Ulster's last scrum wasn't such a good one. Can they put any pressure on the Scarlets scrummage?
Touch! Set! What's going on, lads? Okay.
Slightly incredulous Alain Roland asking what's going on, lads.
Order then, please. Okay, that'll help everybody.
It's constant chatter in the scrum. So only Rory Best left from the 6 gentlemen who started this game in the respective front rows.
Touch! Set!
Good squeeze by the Scarlets. Ulster penalised.
Mark's over there. Mark's over there. Here you are.
Ulster guilty of collapsing the scrummage, and the Scarlets will be looking for distance from this kick, courtesy of Owen Williams. And a pretty good kick it is. A very good kick it is. Didn't expect to be starting this game. Rhys Prieston was the man slated to come in for his first start after 4 months out because of an Achilles tendon problem. And a gap which probably, Randall, if you'd agree, cost Rhys Prieston arguably a chance to go on the Lions tour.
He looked good, certainly. Last year people had him penciled in, but unable to really make himself available, and only 2 being selected. Johnny Wilkinson maybe to be added later.
Great chance now for the Scarlets. Rather untidy. Here's the danger man, and he's nearly got away again. Oh, that was so close to a second breakaway try. Ulster just about closing the door in his face and no more. But advantage still with the Scarlets, and you wonder why Gareth Davis wasn't on from the start. Here go the Scarlets again. Picked up by replacement prop Roderick Jones. Gareth Davis. Scarlets giving it everything in this last few minutes, into the last 10 minutes just about of this game at Ravenhill. Ulster will breathe a big sigh of relief, and here go the Scarlets. Tamani's held up. If he grounds the ball at the bottom of the post, it is a try, but he was held up well away from that. Scarlets going forward. The ball was on the ground. They'll get the put into the scrum, and I'll tell you what, Ryan, they will go for this Ulster scrum.
Scrum down 5.
Well, they've got the best of the last 2 exchanges at scrum. Ulster will want to address that, given the field possession. So we can see another tackle-busting effort to set up that field position. Then they just went round the corner, physical stuff, one-on-one. Chris Henry doing well in concert with Robbie Dyack to repel that invasion, but big task, going to take full concentration from Ulster now, given the ascendancy that's developing in the scrum for the Scarlets.
A wee bit of a petulant foot going in there from the Scarlets try scorer. Gareth Davis has a little bit of a poncho for putting his feet where he probably shouldn't. So 9 minutes remaining. The celebrations
went in on
are
this side.
still on hold.
Front rows, please.
That is a night for something hot rather than for something cold.
1, 2, 3. Front rows, can I just have your front rows, please, while we're waiting for the entry to be done?
There's a bit of a stoppage, I think, to Josh Turnbull. Referee's talking to the front rows. What's he saying?
Scrum standards has got to improve. So what I'm asking for you to do is you need to wait for my calls, okay? It's slow. It's slower than what you're thinking it is at the moment, okay? So just be prepared and please just wait for my signals. Will you do that?
You don't need.
I'm going to stay this side. I'll stay this side.
Sensible, clear, precise and concise refereeing by Alain Ronald. He's just basically saying to the front rows, you're a bit too anxious, wait for my signals.
Time on.
Know what we want, come on.
Mike McComish claps his hands, but this is a crucial scrum. 18 points adrift. The Scarlets will need to score, well, a couple of tries and maybe a bit more to win this game and deny Ulster a place in the final. But they've had a much better second half than they had the first. Free kick against the Scarlets for early engagement. Well, he did warn them, and Gareth Davis thought the penalty or the free kick was in his favour. And alas for him, it wasn't. And again, Ulster get away with it.
And again, it's the Scarlets who 5 or 10 metres out have conceded a penalty needlessly, and Ruan Pienaar belts it again towards halfway to relieve the pressure.
That's another fine kick by Ruan Pienaar, who's played extremely well, and Rory Best is going off. And that old stand, well, has warmed to Rory Best in all the years he's been playing for Ulster, and the couple of seasons that he captained Ulster. Ireland's most capped hooker. Should have been a Lion, may still be a Lion, but it should not have been left to any doubt at all. However, here come the Scarlets. Across the 10-metre line. Good driving forward by Phillips, the replacement hooker. Well set up by the men in red. Good counter rucking by Ulster, and good defence there. Ian Henderson in the middle of all that. Scarlets have retained possession though. Davis, Williams, bit of a dummy, tries to step inside Pienaar, who just hangs on to him. Still there for the Scarlets. Davis. Adrianza takes it forward, the replacement prop forward. Still there for the men in red. That looked a little bit forward, but the referee says play on. This is good work. This could well be another Scarlets try. Ulster on the back foot and looking very shaky in defence, and they give away the penalty. Now 3 points no good to the Scarlets here, I'm pretty sure.
Here we are. There's the mark.
Because 3 points would still leave them needing 2 converted tries.
I think they'd go for the scrum on this occasion. It's midfield, gives you opportunities left and right. They've done well in the last few scrums, apart from that early engagement. Pressure on now to get the call right.
Well, a week ago we were saying that Mark Anscombe wouldn't be happy with Ulster's first half performance. The last 20 minutes, he won't be happy with that either, will he?
No, they've set high standards. They're perfectionists. The game was really over as a contest, you felt, after that first half, where Ulster dominated the second 20 of that first half. That's what set the platform. You then get these multitude of substitutions, and it makes any sort of continuity very difficult.
Good covering tackle by Mike McComish, kept his eye on the man. But Phillips got the ball away well, and Ulster conceded the penalty. Just over 5 minutes remaining. Ulster 18 points to the good. Oh, great scrum. Ulster in all sorts of trouble. Marshall kicks it through. Nothing wrong with that, says the referee. Little chip for George North. Across comes Henderson, and it goes into touch and goal, and that's going to be a 22. Well, George North would have loved to have said farewell to the Scarlets on his way to Northampton 14. Saints next year.
14.
Andrew Trimble's going to be replaced. I think Michael Allen's waiting to come on. Well, it hasn't been a great second half for the dyed-in-the-wool Ulster supporters, but the result will please them. So off goes Andrew Trimble. Tommy Bowe moves to the right wing, and Michael Allen's coming onto the left wing. As ever, a generous round of applause for Andrew Trimble. More of that in a moment. Paul Marshall gets it away. I thought Ulster spilled it forward, and I think the ball was spilled forward, and the referee is going to give the scrum to the Scarlets. And a very good position for them, Ryan.
It certainly is, but a 28-10 contest over there, playing for pride. They were disrupted by a number of positional changes through injury, had to flood their bench earlier than what they would have wanted to. Put up a decent fight in the first 20 minutes, but just the intensity that Ulster brought to the game started to overcome them, and once that momentum took hold, it was difficult to stop, and Ulster made the most of those opportunities on the scoreboard.
Well, Ulster had the chance to give all the replacements a little bit of time in this game. It's a very good Scarlet scrum against a makeshift Ulster pack. Oh, well disrupted by Paul Marshall yet again. and hacked through by Mike McComish. Well, I watched a rerun of the Scarlets game against Treviso, and when Treviso were down to 13 men, having had 2 men in the bin, the Scarlets couldn't score. In fact, Treviso, down to 13 men, scored 10 points.
Not what you expect to see, but Scarlets won't be happy with the way they finished this season, but they came with the right attitude to this match, and for 20 minutes they were in this game, but ultimately Ulster are proving just too good.
Emmer Phillips, clever little throw to the front by the Scarlets, and they've got the drive on. Are they still up for the drive forward? Yes, they are. Ball has been laid back. They'll have to move this one. Gareth Davis is saying, I need a couple of runners, and he's got a couple of runners. He's got Adrianza, the South African. He needs somebody else. He's got the other replacement prop, Roderick Jones, who gets away from Herring's tackle. That's good work by Roderick Jones and good grind made. Davis now. Jonathan Davis, the Lion-elect. George North, who'll be on the plane with him. There's another little bit of stamping from Gareth Davis. He is a bit of a bad boy. Good tackle by Robbie Dyack. Davis sets it up. Scarlets getting ever closer, within touching distance of those Ulster posts. A little dummy and the drive for the line. Ulster hanging on. Take up and drive by the Scarlets. They seem to have spilled it. Referee says play on. Jonathan Davis in the middle of all that. The tackle was by Darren Cave. Good work by Ulster. Ball has gone loose. Almost an interception by Michael Allen. But there's a chance of a Scarlets try. They've set it up nicely. Jake Ball, the second row forward replacement. Davis. Roderick Jones. Good work by Jared Payne. Ulster give away the penalty. 2 minutes remaining. Will the Scarlets go for the scrum? I suspect they will. No. Tap and drive, and that's a try. Well taken by Sione Tamani, the Tongan international, and he gets the Scarlets' second half try. It's not going to be enough to stop Ulster, but it's given Ulster lots to think about.
Yeah, in the closing stages with all of those substitutions and a comfortable lead on the scoreboard, it's difficult to keep that intensity of the physical effort, and without coming forward off that line, there was only going to be one winner in that contest, and well taken try. Not sure if he released the ball as he tapped it there, but inconsequential, you feel, to the outcome.
Williams makes good the conversion. So there's only 11 points between them, but there is not enough time for the Scarlets. Well, Ulster will try to get something from this restart kick as we look again at... I'm not sure that he did actually tap the ball to himself. Was there a proper tap? Anyway, the try has been given. It's not going to affect the outcome. It'll give the Scarlets a bit of a boost to take into the close season. Ruan Pina with a restart. Bit of a fumble by Rob McCusker. Scarlets will try to run this if they possibly can. 30 seconds, just even less to go. They will have to run this. That was a forward pass and gives Ulster the scrum, and there's time for the scrum.
Yeah, one more opportunity for points. Interesting to see what option they look for as we hear Rory Best being announced over the tannoy as the man of the match.
Well, I don't think you could argue with that. His line-out throwing was immaculate. His scrummaging was outstanding. His work rate was of the highest quality. Looks almost embarrassed, the great man. Ireland's most cap hooker. Well, the people who've been coming and sitting in that old stand for many years will have loads and loads of memories. Not least the one taken from tonight as Ulster, as they assuredly now are going to do, progress into the final of the Rabo 12 league competition. Scarlets engage early.
Kick it out, it's over.
I think Ulster are going to just kick it out and therefore it's over. Johan Muller says to Pars Marshall, enough is enough. We're not going to take any more chances. Not the greatest second half in the world, but for the first 50 minutes of this game, which is the important 50 minutes, Ulster, to the delight of the thousands of fans who have packed Ravenhill out since the start of the season, got the job done. As ever, Johan Muller saying well done. Little pat for George